And I think we're live. Okay, so today we are going to work on.
Fellow game devs?
Oh, today we're gonna go work on the initial battle phase where I'll show here. I'll start the battle. There's a test button that immediately starts a battle. And we have this initial phase where players can choose the unit, and then this will light up if you select the unit, and then you can click on that to decide to relocate the unit to somewhere else on the board. And the idea is if you are just a regular class, then you can only move your character within your half of the board, so up to here, but only if you're assassin type class, then you can place your unit anywhere on the map, so you can even attack their back line if you're assassin. But yeah, all the other units will be placed here on your half of the board. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be working on today. Let's see how far I can get. Hopefully I can make good progress. All right, so yeah, last time I can select. I believe there's already callback function that, oh, there isn't. Maybe there is, but I'm not printing anything, so let's print something. I'm pretty sure I added that in character select, probably. What functions do I have? On validate, the on point click. I think this is it. Create highlight. Is selected. Yeah, I think this is it here. So if we just put a debug here, right, we'll be able to see the toggling of the selected boolean. I'm gonna clear the console. Yep, true, false. Okay. So basically what we need to do is, if the character is selected, then we need to shoot out an event. That's because when you cannot have two characters selected at the same time, you can only select one character. So yeah, we need to shoot out an event, and I think I've done event-driven coding already. I'm like completely new to C#, so I need to, like, all of the code that I've generated, I have in my game are all fully generated, almost fully generated by AI. So I need to find an example of where the event-driven has been done here. So typically what I do with the AI is like this. In on pointer click, I need to shoot out an event to indicate that a unit has been selected. I want to see an example of other places in the code where I have events being emitted. Don't touch my code, just answer in 2 sentences. You're gonna see that I asked the AI to answer in 2 sentences a lot because I just hate AI just going on and on forever. I can see several examples of event emission. There you go. I think this is it. So every time battle units health changes, we emit an event. And I think this is a C# thing where they call it an action. Same thing should be here. Characters changed action. So this character select script is obviously mono behavior. So it is given to each and every unit in the game. So we don't want to have the event itself here defined, like this action defined in this script. Then if we add it here, that would mean each and every character will have their own event, which I don't think is necessary. Because for each action in C#, I learned that there's going to be a listener and an event publisher. So you can all register as a listener, and then the publisher can trigger the event to go out to all the listeners that are registered to this particular action. So if we have, for example, like some ridiculous example here, 100 units, and they each have their own event, I don't want listeners to register themselves to 100 different units, right? That doesn't make sense. You just need one place to listen to all character selected event. So it's gotta be a centralized script somewhere. So a good place for that would be everything battle related. I do have a battle class. Which is a pretty much everything here is static. So in C#, I'm familiar with mostly TypeScript and JavaScript. So in C# seems to be that if you want, like, if you consider this as a module, if you want like class-wide methods to be provided, you need to provide it as a static. So this will be equivalent to JavaScript's module level function export. So what I can do is I can add an event here into the battle class, and then the listeners can listen to that one event. So I can ask the AI to say, this is a centralized script for everything related to battle. I want to add a static action event called player unit selected. And I want on pointer click to emit an event with event payload to indicate player unit selection changed. That's what I'm gonna do. Because it can be selected or not selected, right? So to indicate which unit and whether it's been selected or not. In order to indicate which unit, well, what I would need is what is actually being, so we keep track of all the player units and enemy units. What is the string here? Unit ID and the ID is okay. The ID is a UUID. Okay, fine. So if a player is selected, what do we need to do? We need a, just going back to the game here. Okay, when we select a character, we need this to light up, and there has to be some controller code that allows you to control what's going on during the initial battle phase. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually, we don't want to do it in the, where is it? Where's the code? We don't want to do it in the battle class anymore, I don't think. We need to create a dedicated class just for the initial battle preparation phase. So what we can do is we can add a script called battle preparation phase. Maybe I'll get rid of, yeah, that's fine, yeah. And then battle class is still going to be the centralized class that will keep track of all the units and grids and everything related to battles. So this is really the raw kind of material, like raw states for the battle, but battle phase, preparation phase will be a layer on top of that raw stuff. So this is going to be a bit higher level, and it's only going to be dedicated to be managing and coordinating the preparation phase of the battle specifically. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Sorry, I gotta start from namespace, right? This is a C# thing. So I created a namespace for all battle related scripts. Okay. No, I don't need that. Okay, so I think what we can do is in here, we can change this a bit. So I'm gonna say battle prep phase. This is a centralized script for everything related to the initial battle preparation phase of the battle. I want to add a static action event called, okay, and I want, okay, so that's good. And okay, let's get that done first. Oh, and I noticed I'm using auto, which I don't like. I like to use Cloud 3.5. Yep, so let's do it again. Okay, let's see what's happening here. We have static event. Okay, it could have just done using system like this. Or how did it do in here? Yeah, using system, right? This is coming from system dot. Okay, so I don't think you need to do that. Okay, player unit selection changed. That's the event. Oh, sorry. Yeah, action. And then the event payload is here. Unit selection changed. Event. Do I have a single place where all the events are stored? I might have that. Wait, let me see. Maybe comments. Okay, I guess not. Okay, it's fine. So unit selection changed event. That's good enough. Okay, and then on unit selection changed. Oh, I see. So we are actually providing a function so that character select can call that. Yeah, that's a good idea. So sometimes AI gives an even better idea than what I have. I was planning on accessing the action directly from here and then doing this invoke, but I think this is a much better idea. Okay, so in that case, inside here, when the character is selected, unit ID. Yeah, so this is part of the battle system namespace. So this is in the UI namespace, so we would need actually to add this here, right? But why is it still complaining? Yeah, maybe Unity needs to compile that. Yeah, so it's working now. Yeah, I noticed that's the thing about Unity. It's not real-time like assembly compilation and producing the assembly bytecode. You have to actually make the change in your code, go to Unity, let it compile, then it recognizes new classes and stuff that's been introduced into the assembly. So that's a odd development experience, but okay. And then here, what am I doing here? Is null or empty unit ID. What is the unit ID? Where did it come from? Oh. So it added a parameter called unit ID because it needs to know which unit this current character is, and then it will do that. Okay. That's not really gonna work. This requires you to manually enter the unit ID in the Unity inspector. Like for example, what it's trying to do is right, there is a new scene added here, and then battle units, and then these are the unit IDs, right? We don't know which one is which, but we will know if we go to like here, right? So this is probably Royd, and if we look at character select script, you see like it's asking me to just literally type in this UUID here by adding the parameter. But this is not ideal because obviously during the game these are dynamically generated characters loaded from prefabs, so I'm not gonna be like entering that. Nobody's gonna be entering that during the mobile game play. But we could dynamically assign a value to this. So this Makes no sense to be like that. Now, let me stop this. This doesn't make sense. Should probably like be public string unit ID with like that, something like that. And the unit ID can be assigned. First of all, how is the character being spawned into the unit is being spawned into the battle? It's probably in the battle class spawn unit. Okay, so we have to actually go to the battle unit class and spawn here. Okay, so we are game object is probably, yeah, here's the prefab that we're loading dynamically. And then where are we actually? Grid tile. Okay, here we go. So the game object, the position is the tile position, and the game object itself, how is it being put into the scene? I think this is it, instantiate, and then it's being put into the, there you go, battle units, parent object. Yeah, we're setting the parent. Okay, so we're putting it into the battle units game object in the hierarchy. So what we need to do is that unit ID, we shouldn't even rely on this, because the unit ID is actually already the name of the game object that this script is part of. So what I'm gonna do is here, the name of the game object of the character select script is actually the unit ID according to spawn, right? The ID this means you can just use that when calling this, right? So I think it's gonna do that, and I'll show you in the game what I mean by this prompt. Yeah, so we'll probably make it like this, unit ID. Yeah, and then just so when I read this later, like I can understand better. And yeah, unit ID is selected. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm gonna accept it, and then we will see in the Unity what I mean by this unit ID being the game object's name. So if you see here, battle units, this one. So this one has the character select, and this character selects game object name is the ID. You see, it's this particular battle unit's UUID. So that's what I'm using here. So yeah, so that's good. And then What we should do is we should have a selected unit ID. Initially, I forgot, C#, you gotta put the type of the variable first. Selected unit ID. What we need to do is we need to say this. No, only that. I think. Let me think. And so if it's selected true, we need to remember which one is selected right now. But then there could have been previously selected unit, and we need to also emit an event of this for the previously selected unit. So what we can do is if okay, the first thing we're gonna do is if there is already selected unit, deselected unit, deselected as in, yeah, and then we let everybody know, like all the listeners that are listening to this, we let them all know that this unit has been deselected. So that's correct. And then after that, after that, we can do this. No, we need this anyway, no matter what. Yeah, I think this is good. So this is basically handle the new selection. I think this is good. And then what we need to do is we have to remove the highlight in response to the deselect of the previously selected unit, because right now what's happening is, I'll show you, you can technically select everybody at the same time like that. So ideally, if I select this guy and then I select this guy should deselect, right? So that's what I'm trying to achieve. So we have a centralized we have a centralized so this should really be a property, I think. Selected. Here, let me rename it. selected unit ID. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? We don't even need this. We don't need that. Yeah, let's keep it simple. We don't need that. Actually, we don't even need all this. I have a better idea. Yeah, select unit. And then this, we don't need this. And then here we do, yeah, like that. And then deselect unit like that. And we don't need any of this. Okay, so it's really simple now. So basically we have one central state, currently selected unit ID. And whenever that changes, we simply emit an event that, hey, something has changed in here. So now what we can do is in here, first of all, the unit ID should just be like a variable. Here, I think, private, yeah, like that. And then, yeah, in here, we do that. And then we no longer need to keep track of that in here. Okay, so going back to here, if the current unit is selected, we do exactly that, and this. Yes, that's what we need to do. And we need to have event listener to this from each of the character, right? So I've simplified the code in here. In this class, I want to have an event listener to listen to the player unit selection changed action and create and remove highlights on the unit accordingly, on the current unit accordingly, because I already have two functions, create highlight and remove highlight. So hopefully okay, so good. So during the awake of this script, which is the mono behavior unity lifecycle for this script, we are registering an event listener called handle unit selection changed, and then is this the unit selected? You see, AI is smart enough to use the new variable that I introduced, and then it will create highlight or remove highlight accordingly. So it's smart enough to now Yeah, it's smart enough to now just delete this. Yeah, that's even better than my solution. Yeah, because it's simpler, right? So the way it works is that from this script, it will update the centralized state, and then an event will be fired, and literally everybody, like all the player units on the board, will react and highlight accordingly. I think this is a much simpler model, definitely. So let's test it out. Now it's gonna work for sure, I think. So as you can see, even with the AI driven coding, you still need to make all the decisions because AI doesn't give you sometimes the optimal solution. See? There you go. Everything is working perfectly, right? So now what we need is we need this particular button to light up when a selection is made. Basically when the centralized state, the selected unit ID has a value in there, then we need to enable that button. So this is no longer needed. Yeah, this is exciting. So this is actually working now, and the button right now, I don't think it has any script attached to it as a component. Let's find out. Let's play the game again. So go to the scene, go to the 2D mode. Yeah, there you go. Relocate is a button, and it has a battle begin button script, which is incorrect. It should be battle relocate button. And that's because I copied these replace and relocate buttons from the begin. So I need to make that change. So let's go here. First, battle begin button. Yeah, that button is here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder called battle, and here I'm going to call, well, actually I'll just keep it here like that. Alright, so I'm going to create another one called battle relocate unit button. Relocate unit, and relocate which unit though? So we need to get what? Selected unit ID. Okay, there you go. And then going back to the Unity, let's open the scene where the battlefield scene, and we have here relocate button, and then we're gonna remove this, and then add this. There you go. Okay, now we go back to the tutorial scene. Right now, even if I click here, it's gonna work, and it's gonna say like nothing unit. But if I select this and then click, yeah, it says relocating Royd Shepherd clone. That's not correct. I expected the UUID. Well, what's going on? Where is that name coming from? Royd Shepherd clone. That is not correct. Okay, so one thing we can do is we can try to debug. So battle preparation phase. Selected unit ID. What is actually coming over here? Select. Oh no, it's not actually getting the... That's odd. It's not actually getting the UUID of the game object. Okay, so let me try to fix that from character select. Function was it? On pointer click, unit ID. The unit ID is this. This seems to be okay. So in awake, we assign unit ID with game object dot name. This is incorrect. I can see that the game object, this script is a component of, has UUID string in the scene hierarchy. I want to assign that UUID string to the unit ID variable. These are some Unity details that I don't know because this is my first time using Unity, and we need to get the name of the game object this script is component of, not just any game object. Let me fix that. I mean, isn't this essentially the same thing? Isn't that the same thing? Well, I guess we can test it out, but I think that's basically the same thing, whether you put this dot or not. Yeah, that's the same thing. That's odd. Yeah, definitely. That is the game object's name. So how is it getting the, what is it? Royd Shepherd clone? Where is that coming from? Isn't that the name of the prefab? Let me see. This is so bizarre. Royd Shepherd. So where so prefab's name is Royd underscore Shepherd, but this has Royd underscore Shepherd clone. Royd Shepherd. That clone must be like some Unity thing. When it clones from the prefab, this is not working. I can clearly see the UUID assigned to the game object that this script is part of, but instead it is printing in debug log Royd Shepherd clone, where Royd Shepherd was the original prefab's name. Which was cloned in spawn method. Okay, let's see what the AI says. The issue, looking at in the spawn method, when it instantiates the prefab, it sets the name like this. Where? Yes, it sets the name with the ID, UUID, but the character select component must be on a child game object of the main unit game object. Is it not? Probably part of the UI or visual, which is why we're seeing. Okay. Let's try out what the solution from the AI. No, it's the same thing. No, the character select mono behavior script is indeed a direct component of the game object that was cloned in spawn. The line makes assigns name line renames the game object with the UUID that I need. The character select component is directly on this instantiate game object, which means its name is already being set to the Unity UUID. Yeah, but yes, but okay, it keeps saying this is correct. Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? We actually just take this and then do that and check the unit ID. Maybe something changed unit ID during the runtime to a different name. I don't know. So let's make sure at least in the beginning the right unit ID is assigned. No, it's not. Awake. Okay, maybe it's because we're doing it in awake. Okay. Maybe the assigning the unit ID in the awake life cycle of mono behavior is too early. Okay, so we're now doing it at the start. Is that it? Yeah. Okay, let's check it out. Ah, there you go. This is exactly what we wanted, isn't it? And then when I click, yeah, that was it. That was really tricky. I mean, AI wouldn't be able to solve something like that. It would have to be a human. Okay. All right. I think it's because you are dynamically creating a clone from the prefab. And even though you've assigned the UUID to the game object, it takes time for the game engine in Unity to actually update the game object's name in the hierarchy. So you can't do it in the awake, you have to do it in the start. All right, so we have now, going back to here, when we click on the relocate button, we should have proper UUID of the unit. So right now it's nothing, but when I click on this and click relocate, yeah, it shows up. When I click on this and then click relocate, different UUID. And then when I click on this, click relocate, nothing. So everything is good. Right now, what we need to do is okay, we don't need this anymore. This script is a component of actually, let's go back to the scene, the battlefield scene, and we click here. What we want is we want this arrow and the text to light up to white color. So that would be this, you see? So the color when it's disabled is 7B, 7B, 7B. Okay. So, and also the icon here is here. It's an image. So there's text Mesh Pro and the image that we have to worry about. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are going to do public text Mesh Pro text label text is fine. And then what are you doing? Stop. Sometimes it's annoying when they try to give you too much recommendation. Image, the icon. What's it complaining about? Okay, after putting those public variables, now we should see, yeah, these two, right? So the text will be this, which it doesn't like. Interesting. Why is that? Text Mesh Pro. How about the icon? Yeah, icon, it takes it. But Text Mesh Pro is, that's not it? Public text. All right. Yeah, there you go. So what we can do is allow this script to listen to this action, and whenever there is a selected unit, we should set the color of the text and image to be white. Otherwise, their colors should be, what was it, 7B, 7B, 7B. Yeah, that's so convenient. It does the hex code translation as well for you. It's so smart. And it knows what it means to be active and inactive and names the variables accordingly. And that's a good, like, I probably wouldn't be able to think about doing that. That's probably really good. That must be a C# thing, right? And I think everything is good. It created the, what's on enable? What? Well, why is it doing that? Inactive color, active color, on disable. Oh, I see. Okay. So this is when it's hooking up to the event, and then if the button is removed from the scene, then we, deregister. Yeah, so this is a very good approach. Yeah, we need that. I think we can test it out. Okay, so there you go. That's beautiful. So if I click here, you see, it's working perfectly. So now the idea is when the button is active and the button is clicked, then we need to light up all these tiles where this specific character can be relocated to. So that means, okay, this is good for now, and then we need to work on how to turn those individual tiles to make them light up. And I have no idea how to do that, so I'll have to probably play around with. Let's see, my wife has built the battlefield scene, and she did it in a way where I think it was pretty smart. She had a bunch of tiles that were here. So for example, this tile, I do think that this tile has a material that is transparent right now. Is it? Yeah, so there you go. So each tile has its own material with lit shader, and I'm hoping they can have their own color. Oh, that's beautiful. That's it, right? That's exactly what I wanted. So you can, yeah, you can have certain tiles light up like that. I just need to find, oh no, but when you make change to one shader, one shader in one game object, it's actually changing to everybody. Okay, so let me ask that question to the AI. I have many identical game objects that are tiles on my game. Yeah, in my game. These tiles share the same material and shader for that material. When I click on a single tile and in its inspector I change the color, what color? Base map, surface inputs, change the surface inputs base map color. All tile colors of all tiles are affected, not just the one I selected. I don't want that. Why is that happening? Answer: don't touch code. Answer in 2 sentences. This must be like a Unity thing. This behavior occurs because all your tiles are sharing the same material instance. When you modify the material properties of one tile, you're actually modifying the shared material asset that all tiles reference. To make each tile's color independently adjustable, you'll need to create a unique material instance for each tile using either material instantiate in code or by right-clicking the material in the project. Okay, so if I create material instance on the fly, do they get saved in the assets folder as files? Okay, great. So the way these tiles are being laid out here is I helped my wife with this. There is a custom editor script that I added. There's a YouTube video of me going through this, and I even share the source code for this. So you can have access to this tile generating script if you want. But which material did she use? She used this one, okay. Okay, so as you can see here, even if I delete all of these tiles, right? This is terrain. These are just paintings on the terrain, but the tiles are gone. So if I do yeah, so I just need to look at the script for this editor here, right? And I have to tell the AI tile generator script here. So I am using this script to generate the tiles. During the tiles game object generation, can you instantiate individual material from the original material for each tile? Looking at you're already doing exactly that. Okay, so that's weird. But as I mentioned before, when I change the base map color of the color in the inspector of a single tile, colors of all the tiles are changing. While you're creating material instances, they are only being created during the editor generation time and not being saved as assets. Let me suggest a modification. Instead of using, you should use material instance, which creates a proper clone of the material. Additionally, you might want to save. So I don't want to save the individual materials. I just want to be able to dynamically change the tile colors during the gameplay. Oh, okay, I see. So I don't have to worry about this then. Okay. I don't have to worry about any of this. So it seems like for any given material, there's render material, and then there's render.material property automatically creates a unique instance that exists only during gameplay, and any change to it won't affect other tiles. Okay, so we can test it. So yeah, when the relocate unit button is clicked, right, we need to first check here. Yeah, that's correct. And then we need to check. We need to get, okay, let's do this. We need to get access to the particular tile that the selected character is currently standing on, right? And let's try to change the color of that tile only as a test. Okay, so from the battle class, which is basically static class, we can find the player unit based on the selected unit ID, right? This is a UUID, and that UUID is the key here. So we'll have access to the battle unit of the selected player unit, and in the battle unit we will have the battle grid that the unit is standing on, and inside the battle grid we have the game object tile. So that's how we're gonna get it. So in the relocate unit method, I want to change the color of the tile that the selected unit is standing on. In order to get reference to the tile game object, you need to do the following. Using the selected unit ID, get the battle unit instance unit ID, use battle to get battle unit instance from player units, and this will be available and get access to the tile. I think this should be capital T. Yes, yeah, I think so. This too, capital X. Let's do that. What is it doing? I'll help you modify method. What? No, that's not it. You need to make the change here. I don't know, AI just got confused. Okay, so it's trying to change the color to red for now. I don't like red. Let's do green. Okay. Let's try it out. So nothing happens if I click here, right? Okay, that worked. And it's changing for one specific tile. That's exactly what we wanted. But it's way too strong, so we need to make it translucent. Let's see. That worked, except the green color is Green color should be translucent. Introduce a way for me to control this value. No, I don't want serializable. No. Stop. Just do it as a variable in the code, not a serial nice field. Alright, we'll make it like 30%. Okay, so 30% is too strong still. So we will do 10%. Oh, there you go. That's quite nice. Yeah, that's nice. So cool. So we know how to control individual tiles shading. We can highlight it. So what we should do is, this is a wrong place to be highlighting because we want to highlighting individual tile. We need to abstract that because tile is an like very low level game object in my code. I am wrapping the tile game object with bunch of other stuff here, right? Because my battle grid class is abstracting, it's wrapping around the Unity tile game object, and it's adding some functionality on top of it. So given a grid, one single tile is actually a battle grid, and from a given battle grid you can get neighbors, so all the surrounding 6 hexagons. You can find a path from this particular grid to another grid. You can get distance from this grid to another grid, right? So there's a concept of battle grid that's sitting on top of the tile game object, and I would like to keep it that way. So if a battle unit is to be relocated to a different grid, it should be here. So we need to be able to first highlight the grid to any color we want, basically. So let's add that functionality to the battle grid. So here, I want to add 2 methods. Using the code so far as an example, I want to implement this properly. In this class, I want to add 2 methods. Highlight, one to turn on the highlight, and turn on and off to turn on and off the highlights. The colors, excluding the color, the highlight color, excluding the alpha value, will be passed as a parameter, but the alpha value will be hard-coded to be 0.1f. These methods will work with the underlying tile game object and its renderer material to achieve the highlighting. Okay, so here we are introducing, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know C# had a const keyword. I didn't know about that. I thought that was only a TypeScript thing. So as you can see, working with AI, you can learn another language as you are building something. I think which is basically the best way to learn how to use a language, in my opinion. And it's doing original material. So it's caching original material for some reason. So let's take a look at, and by the way, when I'm using AI, as you've noticed, I review the code line by line, literally everything, because I don't trust AI. I'm using AI to treat it as if I'm like managing a junior developer at my workplace, which I think AI sometimes codes way better than me. So sometimes it pulls off a senior level. One second, I've got a personal message. Anyway, yeah, so highlight the tile and it gives me base color. Store the original material if we haven't already. Okay, and then create a new material instance with the highlight color. Is that how it's doing here? Yes. I see. Well, this has a problem, right? So this is a reason why I am reviewing the code every time. So this has a problem where oh no, it doesn't have a problem. Okay, so it's storing original material only on the first time. That's good. Okay, I think this works, to be honest. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this code in here to do the same thing. Now refactor the code in relocate unit to use the newly added highlight tile method. Yeah, I'm streaming. That's right there. Okay. While we're watching 2 movies. Okay. Sweet. Look what I've done. Watch. Oh wow, she's not interested. Yeah, use blue. Oh, sweet. You see that? That's using the new code. That's using the new highlight code. Okay, so perfect. And in fact, what we want to do is if we deselect the character, then we want to remove the highlight. So let me think. So we know this works, so we don't need to worry about this now. We don't need to worry about this now. Okay, we accept everything. And then in the battle preparation phase, when a character is selected, open what? Okay, so yeah, in here, because this is the entire battle preparation phase controller, right? So this is where when a player is selected, we need to take a look at the class type. Sorry, not player. A unit, a battle unit is selected. We need to look at the class type of that battle unit, and then determine which tiles need to be highlighted, right? Because it depends on the type of the unit. So what we're gonna do is we are going to be doing tiles to highlight, and here we're gonna say determine get tiles. No, we cannot do that in the select unit, right? Not in the select unit. We have to do it when the user clicks on the relocate. So we have to provide another function called relocate activate relocate unit. Okay, and then of course here we are going to simply on relocate click on click basically, and then here we're gonna say, yeah, we're gonna activate it basically. Actually this we don't even need. This we can add it here. Like that. And then we need to first figure out what tiles we need to figure out what tiles need to be highlighted. So for the given unit type. So each unit has unit type and unit class. Yeah, okay, so my bad. Depending on the unit class, we need to figure out which tiles to highlight. So let's say tiles to highlight. Get tiles to highlight for the given unit, which is selected unit, battle, get unit by ID, selected unit, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's all I need to pass, I think. Actually, what I can do is selected unit. I just need, okay, so we need a new method that does that, right? Private static. Oh, the AI is so smart, it already knows. So get tiles to highlight, and we don't need the entire unit. All we need is unit class and each battle unit has its current grid that it's standing on, right? Yeah, battle grid. So current grid, that's all you need to pass, like that. And then we should be able to compute and return the list of tiles to highlight. Okay, so what can we do? So this is where AI is going to be extremely helpful. For now, let's not add in the details of the assassin class. Well, actually, let's try out assassin class too. Okay, so actually we need more than just this. We need to worry about okay, you know what? Let's forget that. Let's just say battle unit. Okay, instead of tiles to highlight, it would be get tiles, eligible tiles to relocate. Eligible tiles to relocate. How about that? I think that's better. Because highlighting is an implementation detail, right? So target. pivot unit. Okay, so we're trying to find the eligible tiles to relocate for the relocating unit. Yes. And that's going to be the selected unit. Yeah, I like that. And then in here, we need to do the following. We need to, what were the choices? Unit class, archer, ranger. Okay, so the only class that's allowed to go to the enemy's territory is the rogue class. So let me now give this here. Here is an updated code. I want to implement tiles to highlight. Sorry, I want to implement get eligible tiles to relocate. And with following requirements. Right? So first, there is concept of player side tiles and enemy side tiles. So I need to let AI know that player side tiles are the bottom half and enemy side tiles are the upper half, where okay, so I'll leave it at that. And then besides the unit class rogue, all the other classes should only be allowed to relocate to player side of the tiles. If the relocating unit is unit class rogue, all tiles except the tiles that enemies are standing on are eligible. In all cases, the tile that the relocating unit is standing on. Oh, I should stop saying tile. It's grid. Comes the player side grids. Yeah. The wording is really important with AI. That's why I'm extra careful. So in all cases, the grid that the relocating unit is standing on should be excluded. Okay, I mean, let's look at the code. Eligible tiles are initially empty. This is not necessary, but whatever. Okay, we find out if it's a rogue. Since the grid is 8 by 9, middle row is at 4, okay? And grid pair dot value grid. For rogue, all tiles non-rogues. Okay, I think this seems pretty accurate, but we'll have to test. Okay, that didn't work. I'm clicking on relocate and nothing happens. Great. What's happening? I clicked on relocate. Is this being even? Is that even being called? Oh, right. Right, I changed the name of that. I changed the name. Here. On click. Save. Okay, going back to the scene. If this works, I think that'll be it for today's live streaming. Awesome. No, that shouldn't be the case. You should be able to relocate to here, and then you will simply be swapping positions, right? So that's not good. So here, I should be sorry. The grids where ally player units are standing on should also be eligible for relocation. All right, so let's test it out. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's it. And now we want to test also rogue class, right? So if I can just temporarily say is rogue, I'm gonna say is true here. And then we'll be able to see all the eligible grids. highlighting. Awesome. That's exactly it. So if you have a rogue class, the rogue can jump to here. You can place it, and then it can start attacking the back line, and then making their way back from the back to here. Enemy units, if they're rogues, they would also have that freedom, so you have to watch out. But you, at the start of the battle, you'll always be able to see the enemies first and their positions. So you can always relocate your. So for example, if there's an enemy rogue all the way down here attacking your healer, then you would be swapping the position with the healer with I don't know, tanker or some kind of bruiser, and then healer can stay behind, protected. So yeah, I mean, the next thing I have to do is I have to implement among these eligible grids that you can relocate to. If a user clicks here, I need this grid to respond to that click, and then try to teleport this character to here, the currently selected character to click here, and then probably, you know, disable relocate button and turn off all the highlights. The one thing I didn't test though is turning off the highlights. So let's do that. So so this is good. I'm gonna accept it for now, and then when deselect happens, when deselect unit is called, if there are highlighted eligible grids. If there are already highlighted grids due to the previously activated. Oh no, I called. We should call a new method called deactivate relocate unit. In that new method, we should loop through all the grids in battle.cs and turn off the highlights. AI is so great. So great. I love it. Yeah. Okay. Let's test it out. Okay. And then, oh, that's amazing, right? Oh, well, that's a bug. Okay, so we need to change that. So let's go here. If select unit is called to select a different unit and there was already a selected unit, we need to deactivate relocate unit again as well. All right, so now if a different unit is selected, we are not officially in the relocate phase. So yeah, so you have to click here again, right? That makes sense. And obviously when the battle begins and somebody clicks here, we need to turn off everything. So because right now the battle begins and then you'll have that happening, right? So that's not good. So let's see. The battle will begin. Battle will begin here. Start combat. I don't like that naming. Let me change. Begin battle. Okay. So when this is called, when begin battle is called, we need to completely turn off everything that was happening in the battle preparation phase. So introduce end preparation phase method in the script and call it from battle script. Let's see how okay. The good thing about like having everything defined in individual functions like this is controlling with the functions at the high level becomes really convenient. So I always prefer and also ask the AI to implement things this way. There you go, right? So that's that, and also we need so we can accept that, and then we also need the buttons to disappear. So when the battle begins, we need to have an event basically saying add a static action event to indicate battle state changed. Actually, I don't need AI for that. I can just do that. So battle state changed. Okay, and then this begin button. I added battle state changed action. I want this button to listen to that and disable the parent game, disable its game object. Do the same here. Okay, so I expect all the buttons to disappear now. Oh, I expected these buttons to disappear as well. What happened? Game object set active. Scenes. Yeah, so game object dot set active false. Yeah, it should disappear, right? Oh, maybe we're not invoking. Yeah, we're not invoking the. Yeah, we need to do that. Yeah, that's what happened. I mean, we have the event, but we didn't trigger the event, so nothing's gonna react to that because there's no event to trigger. Sorry, there's no event that was triggered. Begin. There you go. Everything disappears and you just get into the fight. Yeah, I need to do some balancing because every single time the player units lose in this battle. So I'll work on that later. So yeah, I mean, I think that's it for me today. I'll go ahead and commit this code. Just make sure everything is included. Why did it not include this? Battle begin button. Oh wait, asset scripts. Oh yeah, weird. Yeah, include everything. And then here I would say battle preparation phase, character selection and tiles selection and tiles highlighting for relocation, unit relocation. Done. Okay, that's it for today. Next session, I'll probably actually be implementing the relocation when player clicks on one of the tiles. Yeah, that's it.